Good morning everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. This morning on the kitchen table is a quick video in response to the Inspire 1 launch. Really, that happened yesterday kind of afternoon, evening if you're in the US, or early hours of this morning if you're over here. Had tons and tons of emails and PMs and comments about it, so I thought while I'm waiting for a video to render, I'd just give you some of my thoughts if you're interested. Apologies for the mess, it's been very much a working table this morning. Those of you who are channel regulars will know we always have a beverage on the kitchen table when we're discussing multi-rotors, and today it's early even for me at 9 a.m. so it's a mug, the remains of a mug of home roasted single origin Guatemalan coffee. So cheers. So yes, Inspire 1, big launch, live kind of, excuse me, live streamed. I think also live streaming of the video feed from the copter, which I thought was technologically pretty good. I'm not sure who the pilot was. I'm not sure he had enough hours really on that one. Perhaps they should have got someone that was a little bit less ham-fisted. But I have had an actual chat with somebody else who has previously flown it, and they've made some interesting comments about the handling characteristics, which we'll talk about soon. So the Inspire 1, yes, you've all seen it by now, or you're going to see it. So I'm not, no surprises really on the way it looked after all the leaks. No surprises on the transforming sort of sequence, but nice to see it in action. Very smooth, quite cool. I think a lot of people will be wanting that just from the look, the kind of almost sort of menacing helicopter canopy look, which looks very sleek. Really just a few of the actual features that we've now had confirmed. The first thing is the weight at just a smidge under 3 kilos. This is a heavy beast indeed. And it's only a quad. I've already had several comments for people saying, look, this would really suit me in the way that I operate, and potentially using it commercially, but where's the redundancy? If one of those ESCs goes, does this thing have anything to save itself? And we don't know is the answer. The other thing that I thought was interesting was the max speed, which they're quoting at just under 50 miles an hour in ATI mode. I've spoken to someone who's flown this, whose description of it was as a rocket ship. This thing apparently is fast, and that's again not surprising looking at it. I mean, it's got a streamlined sort of fairing, and the rest is kind of all hanging out there, isn't it? There's no bulky bits to get in the way. So yeah, if you want a rocket ship, then this could fit the bill with all that 6S power as well. Other things I thought were interesting. The flight time they're saying of maximum of 18 minutes. I would suggest that that's kind of like the phantom range of maximum quoted. That's trashing your what is going to be an extremely expensive 6S battery. I would suggest a more sensible and likely time would be 15 minutes, which for a pro, pros would be used to carrying a fairly hefty hex or octo and getting 10 to 15 minutes as a max. So that's either a problem for you or it isn't. You don't really have a choice though, because if you're buying into this, you're buying into ready to fly. 13-inch props, nice and quiet, I thought. I mean, I don't know how it was mic'd up or anything, obviously, but it seemed to have a nice quiet tone to it, which is pleasant. The thing that I wanted to see was, what have they done with that camera? Have they at last taken an in-house camera and taken the opportunity to do something with the optics or the sensor or something? And gentlemen and ladies, we have a branded sensor. It's a Sony Exmor 1 2/3 inch sensor. They don't mention anything about the glass, so I'm assuming it's not branded glass. But, really pleased to see them go away from the action cam style fisheye and go for a standard wide angle. I thought the shots, the live shots that you saw through it showed very little distortion as far as I could see. Looked good. So I think that will please a lot of people. And the fact that you've got, still got the ability to shoot DNG and so on and so forth is pretty good. 12 megapixel? Don't know. And hopefully the bitrate coming in at 60 megabits per second maximum, it says bitrate. I don't know. Those of you who are GoPro 4 purchasers maybe can tell us what the bitrate comparison would be to that. The only other thing that I thought was perhaps noteworthy, other than the eye-watering price, was the fact that they also state very specifically the camera doesn't have its operating temperature range is 0 centigrade to 40. Yet everything else on the aircraft is spec down to -10. So those of you who are hoping to buy this for and get out and do some sort of, you know, snowboarding stuff or whatever, DJI's own specs say the camera doesn't like going below freezing. That could be an issue for some people, whereas, you know, the previous sort of ready-to-fly camera equipment has all gone down to the -10 that the rest of the airframe and the battery and so on can handle. So that's something perhaps to look at. Other than that, really, it'd be interesting to see how much a spare one of these batteries is, because if you want to get a good half an hour of flight, of real camera time, you're going to need 2 of these 6-cell batteries. The app looks good. And all that kind of stuff. So in a way, yeah, we've got a few more bits and pieces, but I don't think it was anything radical because of all the leaks. The really interesting thing that came out was the software development kit for the whole Phantom range. That, I think, is going to be very interesting, because that will already have people, you know, we've had a couple of, we had some demonstrations from the mapping guys. That looks really cool. I think there'll be a lot of people downloading that app this morning and having a play with that. And hopefully more features soon as well, using the Phantom and really sort of giving the Phantom range a bit more life, you know, lifespan, and the ability of people to tweak. And you might find actually people using them in-house for stuff. So that I thought was much more interesting than some of the rest of the technical stuff. Price, obviously, I was guessing, wasn't I, beforehand, about $3,000. It's actually come in at $2,800, which is, you know, good. At least it's on the cheaper side of the $3,000 than I thought it would be. I don't know what that'll, you know, equate to in pounds when it comes over here. Street price, we'll find out when the dealers start listing them for pre-order. But yeah, that's a lot of money. I think this is definitely aimed at prosumers or people who just, you know, have not got other things to spend their money on and want to get the latest and greatest. There's no doubt it's got a certain cool factor. But yeah, quad though seems an odd choice to me. It does seem an odd choice. But there we go. Cool live event, I thought. Well done, DJI, on the streaming side of things and sort of tying that all together. And yeah, I thought Eric did quite a good job presenting it. It wasn't too cheesy. I quite enjoyed it. But anyway, that's it. Just a few thoughts. You've obviously all seen it, I suspect, by now. But it saved me answering the several hundred emails all at once. So yeah. While I'm waiting for my other videos to render, I thought I would do that. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon back on the kitchen table. Cheers.